Hey guys, I'm Ty's Treatment. I realised I haven't put out a video for a while and I thought I better do so. And I wanted to showcase one of my tanks and some of the amazing plants that I've got growing in it, courtesy of Tropica, who sent me a load of plants. And yeah, I want to share them with you. And who better to talk about Tropica plants than my friend George Farmer, who I have with me today. Ta-da! 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 So we're going to talk a bit about this setup, which is in my kitchen. And yeah, George, do you have any questions to start with?
I do have some questions, Ty.
All right.
It's a bit of a jungle, overgrown,
I mean,
maybe a touch.
There's overgrown and there's jungle. I mean,
Do
this
the
is
fish
my
have-
style.
Do the fish have any room to swim?
Yes, there are quite a few fish in here, and they do have room to swim.
They do look.
If-
They do look good actually. I can
if
see
they-
them just in here.
If they scramble over the plants, they just about have room. See if they come out for some food. So there's some serpate tetras in here and some black phantoms, and a group of Corydoras hasbrosus as well, which occasionally can be seen. The tank is quite overgrown, but you would look at this tank and you know it's a Thai tank, I think.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
definitely a
identity.
style. Yeah.
And it's been running in this form for like a month. Yeah, 2 weeks since before I went to the States.
I actually really like it. It's really vibrant green.
Oh,
Is that the lighting? Would you?
partly, yeah, it's the ADA Solar RGB light.
Yeah.
I actually pulled out 3 days ago about 100 plant leaves
Really.
from, there was no water, there was just plant material.
Wow.
And so I pulled it out, did a bit of a clean up, and tried to get some light down to the plants at the bottom.
Yeah. What species have we got in there then?
So the principal two species are the Hydrocotyle verticillata and the Nymphoides SP Taiwan, or Nymphoides cristata, which is the one I was pulling loads of leaves out.
Okay. This is the kind of the broadest leaf.
Yeah.
This one here.
And these two are Tropica plants. There's also Helanthium.
The Corydoras.
Yeah, the hasbrosus. They're really cute.
Yeah, they don't get much bigger than that, do they?
No, dwarf corys. There's also Helanthium bolivianum, and which is a Tropica plant, and Helanthium angustifolia, which isn't a Tropica plant,
Okay.
but it should be because it's really cool.
It is nice.
It grows so big, it looks like a.
Does it carpet as well? Like
Yeah.
over? Yeah.
And this is the plant I'm very familiar with in Brazil.
You've seen this growing in the wild?
Yeah.
Got footage of that?
Yeah, I definitely got some photos. Yeah, so the bulk of the plants are from Tropica. I set this tank up. It's a WEO 75p. I really like this size of tank, and our lovely friend Ian Watson, talented airline pilot, carpenter, graphic designer, and general nerd, built this for me
Really
as a
good
cabinet, which is really nice.
Really good quality. Solid wood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I went to his workshop and he was like, pick the wood you want and we'll build it. And well, he built it. But when I initially set it up, I just struggled so much with algae on this display. With the other plants I had in, I just couldn't get it.
What do you think that was?
I think partly it was
Too much light? So natural light maybe?
a lot of natural light, too much light from this was too low down.
Okay.
I was growing mostly the Helanthiums, but I was getting so much of the long thread
Stringy
algae.
algae, yeah.
It was really depressing me.
Okay.
And I went and talked to our friend Dave Pierce at Aquarium Gardens,
Yeah.
and he said you need to up that plant mass.
Plants, yeah.
And then, so I talked to friends at Tropica, who very kindly sent me a lot of plants.
Shout out to Raddy.
Yeah, particularly to Radu, who arranged that for me, including a lot of pots of the Hydrocotyle and the Nymphoides. And this seems to really help. And also, in the bottom there's loads of I keep calling it the Monosolenium.
Oh yeah, Monosolenium, yeah.
Which I use as a carpeting foreground plant.
Common name is Pelia.
Pelia,
Yeah.
It's a liverwort, is it?
It is, yeah. Yeah.
So I've put that at the front, but the Hydrocotyle and the bolivianum has since grown and come right up to the glass. So it's a little dense. A little
I'm
overgrown.
going to take some footage.
Sure.
While you're talking about the things.
Yeah.
This is how the professionals do
Oh
it.
yeah. Is it?
No, because we're using phones.
Okay. Still a few bits of the horrible hair algae lingering here and there, which annoys me, but it is so much better than it was, and every time I see it, I cannot resist
pulling it out.
pulling it out.
Do you know what? I get a little bit of that in mine as well.
I hate it.
In my 60.
I talk about the importance of algae in ecosystems, but I don't really want it too much.
I think it's okay to have a bit of background.
It's just, I would rather like BBA algae than this stringy stuff, because
Yeah.
it goes up in the water column.
Yeah.
I didn't expect the hydrocotyle to grow this fast, but it's really done well.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. It's actually an advanced category,
Okay,
so it definitely benefits from more light, more CO2, more nutrients.
you've got CO2 going in here.
Yeah, but
The
then,
GLA.
yeah, nice. But it's one of those that once it starts and it's fully adapted, it just goes like
for it.
crazy.
Okay.
It sends out shoots, side runners obviously,
Well, I've
and you can form a full carpet.
got the green leaf act for CO2 catering to it. There's a
Yeah.
Oase
Biomaster.
Biomaster Thermo on there, ADA light, WEO tank, homemade cabinets.
Don't forget your fertilisers.
Oh yes, Tropica ferts, which Radu sent to me as well. And
Premium.
well, yeah,
Nice.
I've been using it.
Yeah, that's good. No, I thought you specialised because it's got the nitrate and phosphate in, but obviously you're getting enough from the fish and the fish food.
I've got the specialised as well, but I've been doing it this way.
Yeah.
This is a really nice sort of, I don't know, green grotto.
Green grotto.
Yeah, because you sit in the kitchen and
Yeah.
although it's not a huge tank, it really draws the eye.
It is really.
It's nice in the evening when we have
Yeah.
dinner here
Yeah.
at the dining table, and then the fish are out and about a bit more. They're a little bit shy today. The Corys are out. And now that I'm sort of on top of the algae, getting quite a lot of pleasure out of it.
Mm. What do you think about the idea of adding some hardscape maybe?
Well, I'll tell you, there was hardscape in here in the form of some manzanita wood,
Uh-huh.
and it, as far as I'm concerned, was the source of all the algae. It was covered in the stringy algae,
Yeah.
and it seemed to be growing primarily on the wood. So I pulled it out.
Okay.
And since then the algae's gone. So I'm not against the idea of hardscape, but the hardscape I had in there was
Yeah.
covered in algae. It does need a revamp, this tank, at some point. And hardscape would help.
Maybe the viewers might want to add some comments. What would they do to it to maybe improve the overall,
Yeah, I mean,
overall design?
for me it's get the plants growing and then the
Yeah.
rest comes.
Yeah.
But if you're doing hardscape, you need to think about that from the outset.
Yeah.
For me, I'm happy that the fish are really loving all the cover.
And you've got any algae or minimal?
Less algae than I did. I've stuck in a few emergent houseplants just to help suck
Yeah.
up nutrients as well. And
How long do you have the lights on for?
they come on at 3 and they go off at 9:30.
Oh, 6.5 hours.
6.5 hours,
Mhm.
yeah. So it's not a lot, and the CO2 comes on at 4 hours beforehand.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Mind you, you're getting the natural light, so,
so much natural
the
light.
plants
in here.
will use the CO2 then.
And yeah, Dave at Aquarium Gardens was saying, put your CO2 on long before the lights come on, so the plants are ready to start absorbing it as soon as they begin photosynthesizing.
And what substrate is it?
This is actually the WEO wetlands soil,
Okay.
which is quite coarse, but grows plants really well. Some people prefer to use it as a sort of underlay beneath another substrate.
Mm-hmm.
I've just planted straight into it, and it's growing the plants pretty well.
It's just quite very hard, isn't it? It doesn't like
Yeah.
you can quite like like soil can break apart, but this is like almost like.
It will eventually break down. You can see it's a bit more powdery at the front.
Oh yeah.
But it does take time, and yeah, I like the way that you talk about the delayed gratification of waiting for the fish to emerge, and they're not always on display.
Yeah.
You suddenly notice something swimming here or there, or you notice some more of that damned algae. But yeah, the lilies, these are from Aquaflora,
Okay.
the Dutch supplier,
Mm-hmm.
run by the wonderful Esther Moos. And they are Nymphaea, pygmaea, Helvola, and another Nymphaea, pygmaea, alba, I think, because of the white flower that they produce. And they've got these lovely red undersides.
Is there two species?
Yeah, the Helvola is with the spatterdock thing.
Good wonder.
And I think the alba is with the plain.
Yeah. What's your favourite?
I really like the Helvola for the view from above,
Yeah.
and the alba for the view from underneath.
Oh yeah, that crab.
You see that lovely red?
Yeah.
And I needed that contrast with all the green in here.
Yeah.
And you know, they are traditionally sold as pond plants. So I'm beginning to notice how much algae I'm still battling with.
Yeah.
They're traditionally sold as pond plants, but they work really well in tanks because they stay this size, they're tiny. And it provides a bit of, you know, architectural element with those long stems
It does.
merging through. They were getting choked by the Nymphoides,
Yeah.
which is why I had to pull so much out.
Is that a real fast grower?
Very fast growing.
I've never actually grown it before.
Really good value plant as well because the leaves eventually they'll put out little sort of roots, aerial roots, and you can pinch them off and plant them.
Oh wow, okay.
So it propagates really quickly, and it's fast growing, quite happy in hard water, which I have, algae. Really good way of filling out the tank quickly, sucking up excess nutrients, and providing cover for fishes. The Helanthium bolivianum, which remains shorter, is sort of pushing up through the Pelea and the Hydrocotyle. But where the angustifolia has come through, I mean, yeah, this species is really weird. It can be very, very variable. I've seen it at about 10 to 15 centimetre height, really pink or red in clear waters, and then in flowing rivers, and then in still depressions that are flooded, I've seen it growing more like this, up to about 30 centimetres, which looks really nice.
Interesting.
So it's a plant that I'd like to popularise more. I got mine from Wildwood's World of Water in Enfield,
Oh yeah.
near London,
Yeah.
from the wonderful Dan, but it's not an easy plant to find in the UK hobby, unfortunately.
No, I've never seen it in from the regular suppliers.
It's used quite often in the ADA displays.
Yeah.
They'll use it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it's similar to Valis, but more.
it's more like a Sagittarian, but it doesn't go quite as tall as a Sag.
Yeah, and is it still quite fast? I guess.
Yeah.
What maintenance type, sort of what changes
So
are you doing?
50 to 75% every week.
Okay.
Normally close to the 75%. Sort of drain it down to about here.
Yeah.
And I've got taps in here and an HMA unit behind it.
Okay.
So I can just drain it out into the garden.
And for those that don't know what HMA is, what's that?
Heavy metals.
Axe. Heavy metal axe.
Yes.
Yeah, it takes away the heavy metals.
So I can use the water straight from the tap and I can mix it hot and cold.
Yeah.
So 75% water change, pulling out algae when I see it. Before the water change, I clean the glass as well. About once a month, service the filter.
But that you do the pre-filter every week or just once a month?
No, I mean I should.
Oh,
Probably
it works.
Probably help with the algae.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm not lazy, I do the pre-filter when I do the water change. Recently, because I've been working so hard on the book, I have had less time for my aquaria.
Now available for pre-order.
Now available for pre-order.
Link in the description.
There we go. But now I feel like I can get a little bit back into giving attention to the tanks. But you know, this one is flourishing, and yeah, it's not an aquascape in the traditional sense,
nature aquarium sense, but it is still got design elements.
I started with a carpet of hydrocotyle at the front. It's just grown up.
Yeah.
And blended in with the Nymphoides. The fish are really happy. The plants are flourishing. The ecosystem is by and large quite balanced.
Yeah, you can imagine how much oxygen is being produced by all those plants all at the same time. And obviously getting enough nutrients because they're all bright green and not going yellow.
No. I think that the Tropica ferts and the combined with the Weo substrate is really helping them.
Yeah.
I think the algae issue maybe, as you said, down to the fact that there's two big skylights and there's the French doors here, loads of natural light, and now it's the summer. They're getting a lot of light. Today's cloudy, so you don't really appreciate just. I mean, it looks amazing when the natural light hits this tank.
Yeah.
All the plants, the green and the colours of the fish are just
amazing.
Really pop. Yeah, it's my style of tank. It's a
beautiful
Thai jungle tank.
I like it, mate. I really like it. I mean, it's definitely your signature style. So you're on how many subscribers now?
On
10,000?
YouTube?
Yeah.
10,000. And I have to apologise to all my subscribers because I've not been putting out any content because I've just been working so flat out on the book.
Yeah.
I have a backlog of videos from Brazil, from the Pantanal wetlands, from the northeast of Brazil, where I'm exploring all sorts of amazing habitats. I've got a backlog of videos now from my recent trip to the States when I was exploring creeks in Illinois and Missouri. I'm going to be putting out more content to do with setting up tanks and little aquascapes in the coming months. So I will try and get on it, but I'm really appreciate everyone who does subscribe and does support me, and on Instagram as well. I'm very grateful, and I hope I can start producing content and giving back.
Absolutely. I want to aim for like one video a week, one high quality video a week if possible.
Yeah. Well, now that the book is sort of done, my garage, which was the photography sort of studio, I'm going to turn that into a little gallery and have a series of tanks, so I can do videos of each tank and talk about the plants and the fish that are in them, updates, and hopefully, produce more sort of regular content. And I hope next year I can do some more trips. I'd really like to do a trip to the Amazon, see a couple of friends of mine.
Yeah.
And if I could get the money together, I'd go to the Congo to see our friend Thomas Minessi, because I like going to Brazil, but I want to see some other stuff as well.
I'd love to go to South Africa. I've not been to Brazil either yet, South America.
Well, that too. I mean, we can go to the regions that I work in, the Bolivianum Highlands, for example. We can see Hydrocotyle, verticillata, and Helanthium bolivianum growing in great carpets through the rivers.
Wow. Yeah, so make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Ty is obviously a very skilled fish keeper, and I think you should follow him because he gives some very interesting insights into our hobby. He's got some great stories to tell, and I think drop him a lovely comment in the bottom to support him, because he's been working so hard on this book. It's actually taken over his life pretty much, and I think it would really give him a lift if you gave him some nice comments. And maybe share the video, subscribe if you haven't done so yet, give it a like, of course, all the good stuff, and it will really encourage him to create more content, which I'd love to see, because he's got so much to offer the aquarium community, and he has, like I say, unique insights into it, and I think everyone that watches his content could potentially benefit from it. So very happy to support him, and I hope you guys are too. I think he's coming back now, so not going to be too nice to him. So Ty's a bit of a dodgy character. Please don't subscribe and hit the dislike button.
I'll leave you alone for 2 minutes.
That's all good, mate.
So I'm really pleased I could show off this tank, and a huge thank you to Tropica, especially Radu, who is the superhero who works there, and sent me all these wonderful plants to showcase and show off, and I've been enjoying them. The fish are certainly loving living amongst them.
Yeah, and I know a fun story about Tropica.
Yeah.
It's not really that fun, but I think it's interesting. They bought 14 of my books.
14 of your books?
To train the staff.
That's brilliant.
Because we've got a load of new staff, and we want to get everyone's knowledge of plants and how to use them. So they bought a load of my books.
Fantastic.
Direct from Skyhorse, because it was actually the cheapest way to buy them, because there's hardly any available in Europe at the moment off Amazon.
You can only get them through the publisher.
Pretty much sold out at the moment.
Well, that's good too.
Yeah, it's a good sign.
Well, I mean,
hopefully the same with your book. I like the book.
The Tropica staff will be well educated then in how to maintain and run and set up planted tanks. Yeah. One thing is interesting, the rathbun's tetras, I put them in here because their beautiful red bellies contrast really nicely with green. They are not showing any red. They just want to be green.
Because of the light though?
I wonder.
It's a very green orientated light, isn't it?
And it's a green tank.
I've just seen some old green spine there.
Please pull it out. People can come over and visit and pull out some algae for me. People have enjoyed this jungle. Yeah. You can obviously have something like this and add as much hardscape as you want or don't want. You can trim it, you can tame it, you can let it grow wild like I do. As long as you've got the fundamentals of light, CO2, nutrients and carrying out your maintenance, you can grow them.
Just make sure you follow Ty, subscribe to him, leave him a lovely comment, follow him on Instagram.
Thank you.
And it will motivate him to create more consistent content, hopefully.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you everyone for watching.
Cheers guys, take care.
Take care.
Cheerio.